Keith Andrew, very nice to meet you.
Producer, writer, actress working out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I am here today with the KeithAndrewNetWork. It has been amazing. It's been a great time. Definitely check out the episode and check out more of his stuff, because not only is the show great, but he's also a great guy, so check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Keith Andrew, and this is Season 12, Episode 43. I'm here with a beautiful guest. She already introduced herself in the introduction, so let's get started. Now, with that being said, the first subject I want to talk to you about is icebreakers. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, my name is Sheridan Randolph, so hello to everybody out there. I am a filmmaker, so mainly writer, producer, actress, a wide range of other things within film. Outside of that, I'm also a mental health advocate, so definitely advocating just for people to take care of themselves and to also treat others with respect. And then from that, I used to work at a mental health hospital, and before that, I also was a camp counselor at a summer camp for adults with disabilities as well. So I'm glad that I have a very diverse range of experience. So that's me.
No, absolutely. And now when I say transitions, that's my way of putting a transition in the special effect. Instead of saying commercial break, I don't really have commercials, not yet, but I don't have commercials right now. So when I say, when we come back from this quick commercial break, that's when I do the transition, just to point that out.
Okay.
So the next one I want to ask you, the next subject actually I want to talk to you about is production. What were some of your favorite productions that you were ever a part of, and what influenced you?
I will say my favorite one was a show called Swarm. So bees swarm. It's on Amazon Prime, and it was the first time that I had a boss that I felt also looked like me and was very similar to me. So her name was Jenny Neighbors. She's fantastic. And so watching her be the showrunner, which is the person who makes those creative decisions, they're on set all the time. People ask them things, they're in those meetings. Being there with her, it was awesome just to watch a woman, like a Black woman at work. She treated everybody with respect. When there were issues to be solved, she handled them well. So that, I think, was my favorite experience. And then she influenced me because I want to do similar things that she was doing, being a producer, being a writer. So it was just really great. And she was not one of those bosses that was I was her assistant. So sometimes it's oh, go get my clothes, or, oh, go schedule this to clean the house. But it was no, she would hand me headphones and she'd be you need to sit here and I want you to listen. I want you to learn. So it's that was a very new experience for me. So I'm forever grateful to her and glad to, stay in contact with her. Also, she was pregnant at the time. Let's note this, because that in itself is a lot. So to run an entire show and be pregnant, I mean, it was just amazing to watch. So that definitely would be the best one. And I would say my favorite actress that I've ever met being on a show is Rosario Dawson. And she's also to me a certified geek kind of nerd person. So, and again, she was cordial with everyone. So I would say it was awesome to meet her and watching her do everything she's doing with the Star Wars franchise. It's awesome. But that was on DMZ, so that one's on HBO Max.
No, absolutely. And she is hands down one of the greatest, or not the greatest actresses ever. I just do a bad impression just to make you guys laugh. But no, she was really good. I like her. And now you're putting me on the spot. Defenders. She was good in Defenders with I think that's the name of it, with Iron Fist, and it was the Marvel show.
Yeah, Daredevil, Iron Fist was in that one. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage. So the Defenders all together. Yeah, and I think she bounced around in each of the shows. Yeah,
Luke Cage was really good.
Yeah, that was I liked all of them for the most part. I was like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Daredevil were like the main ones I watched, and like Iron Fist I would watch like In and Out and Friends and stuff as well. But they were all, they were all pretty good. I enjoyed them. I wish I could have worked on them, but at least being in the same presence of Rosario for a second, I was like, all right, I feel a little bit of that superhero edge rubbing off, so I'll take it.
No, absolutely. And like I said, we can talk about everything and everything. You open up to me, I open up to you. Now, you mentioned, and going back into the beginning, breaking the glass ceiling, and it's really cool as we're talking. When I see break the glass ceiling, it's just a special effect. So obviously, people know that already. Anyway, I don't want to hear myself speak. Breaking the glass ceiling, how has it felt about breaking that stereotype? Because I fall under that category too, because when people think of, oh, disabilities, you're a talk show host, because automatically you think of,
Yeah.
like that. And it's okay to laugh, because I just did that to make, Biggie laugh. But, obviously, when you think of people with disabilities, obviously, that's what people think of is, people with disabilities. So I'm like, no, I'm a talk show host who has a learning disabilities, but I can inspire other people. Now, obviously, I'm not blind, and anyone who's watching, you happen to be African American.
Yeah,
Now, is
so
that
yeah,
being
yeah, I can describe myself. Why not? So I'm a African American young lady. I have a shirt that has blue on my shoulders and it's like white in the center. And I also have a black grayish headband on, and then I have curly kind of like poofed out hair. So there you go. And I won't talk, like that's my favorite thing about Zoom. You don't have to know how tall I am. Like we all look about the same height on Zoom. So, just pretend that I'm tall if that's how you want to picture it. There you go.
And you look fantastic, by the way. I'm not kissing
Oh,
your
thank you.
butt.
So do you.
I try, but I have a fat neck.
Oh, I got a big head, so we're both in the group together. It's all good. We're all beautifully and wonderfully made, as they say. So no worries there.
That's true. So next one I want to ask you, have you ever been stereotyped? And have you ever been in a position, not in that way, but we really need to come up with a better word than that. But anyway, it's PG, whatever you want to keep it. Have you ever been in a position where you walk into a situation and you're like, you know what? I knew in the back of my mind this was a horrible idea, but in a way, it could always work out, or you kind of set yourself up for failure. Have you ever been in that position before?
I have in entertainment, because that's the thing that's always up for discussion, is not just diversity but also inclusion. And I talked about really great work experiences, but there's shows and different things I worked on that I won't name that were not great experiences. So being a young Black woman in spaces where you don't see a lot of that or any women at all, sometimes that does automatically put you in certain boxes. So they're like, oh, she can't go carry that, or oh, she doesn't have this perspective, or oh, it must be her time of the month, that's why da 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 da. You hear those kind of things all the time. And then just being around people that don't necessarily want everybody to succeed does call for you to be stereotyped. Or if they're people will always like, they'll handshake some people and then they'll come up and be like, hey, and try to dap me, just different things like that people will do to kind of definitely make it cringy and throw you off. So I have been in situations like that. And sometimes it just comes with the job, even if you might fail getting along with this person or fail at this type of job that they're going to give you. You just got to keep your composure and definitely, like we talked about, break those stereotypes, break that glass ceiling, because people will come at you with things hoping that you fit the stereotype that they want you to fit. But if you stay true to yourself and stay positive, you can overcome it and surprise them. So I usually, to the best of my ability, I've definitely had my fails and different things go on, but within that, don't let those stereotypes define you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I say that to myself and I say it to anybody else. Just, it's going to happen. People are going to be ignorant, but definitely do your best to just push past that. So yeah.
Can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a 2x4. Oh, did it cut out? Did you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you now. There we go.
All right. I said you can't fix stupid, but you can numb it with a
No.
2x4.
Yeah, see, I couldn't have said it better than you just said it right there. So
There's other times where, and I'm saying, not to say it is about race or anything. We can talk about anything we want. You know, it's freedom of speech. It's not hurting anyone. I met a lot of people who are white trash. And I can give you an example of what I mean by white trash. I knew in the back of my mind when I went for this interview, what are you? You're from New York, right? Have you ever
No,
been?
I'm from Tennessee, but I currently reside in Georgia.
Have you ever been to New York?
Yes, I've been one time. I saw the SpongeBob musical, which was
Oh, nice.
amazing. I had pizza that was $1, also fantastic. I went to see there's like an M&M museum or something. I've seen that before, and I also saw Iceman Cometh, which was a play by or Denzel Washington was starring in it, and I had to write a paper on it for like class. So that was my one time. I did a lot for those like 2 or 3 days I was there. It was cool.
Well, if you ever come to New York, I'd definitely buy you lunch if you're interested.
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah. I was about to say I
But
like making new friends. I'm always
no,
down for sure.
absolutely. That's what the Keith Andrew Network is. You bring people on and you make new contacts. Now,
Exactly.
there's a second biggest mall in North America called Woodbury Commons. It's pretty much the biggest outdoor, I guess I would say attraction, but it's not a freaking theme park. But
Hmm.
it has like over 4,000 stores and growing. And one store I won't mention, I can tell you off the air. I used to work with. Time passed. I went back for an interview, and I was like, okay, well, whatever. And as soon as I walked in, got hit with nostalgia and or a bad odor, whatever it was. Maybe someone didn't fart. And I went in the office, and the woman, well, I said she's white trash, hat covering the face, gum in her mouth. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, you know what? Why am I doing here? Because obviously you have your mind already made up. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, just say it. I worked for the North Face. And nothing bad about the company. The company, it's fine. It's just the people I have the problem with.
Hmm.
And the people can take that as a, not in a bad way. Yes, I worked with a lot of high school snobby, backwards ass, all that crap. But no, as soon as you sent there, I thought, okay, why am I here? You made your mind up. It's like, well, I have to interview you. And I'm like, well, what's the difference between Gore-Tex and Hivent? Gore-Tex is its own company, and they make sneakers and all that, and they partner with North Face. Hivent is North Face's version of Gore-Tex, but you can say it's a knockoff because it's pretty much it's the same thing, only different name. And she's like, no, no, that's wrong. You're wrong. This is wrong. It's like, I worked here for 3.5 years. So you're telling me everything that I knew was wrong. So I couldn't get it. I was so comedic at how I left. I left freaking vapor trails. She's like, okay, we're gonna get it. I didn't even let her finish. As soon as she said, we're going to get back, I was already out the door. And I said, never again, because as soon you can size people up. Now, have
Yeah.
you ever been in a position where you size someone up and like, this is not going to work?
Um, I guess some again similar to like the other thing I talked about, where there's moments where you gauge a person and you're like, okay, like I see what's happening here. Like I see what you're trying to do to me, or I see that you're trying to show out in front of other people, and you're hoping that I'm gonna try to rise above and or I guess more so rise below you and look like an idiot. So I've been in some of those situations, but I'm very grateful to my mother because my mom works in education, so she deals with a variety of different kinds of people. So she taught me growing up, about composure and how to really just no matter what happens, just be yourself, be honest. And so yeah, there have been some uncomfortable times where I have to call somebody out on their stuff and be like, hey, like I see what's happening here. If you don't want to communicate like an adult, I mean, I guess, this isn't going to work. Like you can either, find somebody else or hopefully I can be in a position one day to where I can fire you and then find somebody else. Like, like sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but I've had to size somebody up. I usually don't like, I'm pretty good with the walk away for the most part. But yeah, I've had to do it a few times. Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of walking away because it feels like I'm giving up.
Mm. No, my mom usually, again, she was always like, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So I also go by the whole motto of I'm not going to waste my breath on somebody who doesn't deserve it. So like, it's hard to walk away, but like to me, it's the best because like they're expecting retaliation.
Yeah.
So when you don't give them what they want, it just, to me, there's no better sound than me walking away and hearing the yelling, just get quieter and quieter. Nothing better. I'm like, it's great. So yeah, the walk away is usually what I prefer if I don't have to confront them. Yeah.
So the next subject I want to talk to you more of a producer than actress, right?
Yeah, I would say because writing was the thing that I wanted to do more so at first, but as I start to learn about my personality and like how I'm super detail oriented and I like structure, I learned that producing is like the thing that I really am starting to enjoy. So that's where I'm trying to transition. But acting is fun too because sometimes it's just fun to not be yourself or just to learn about somebody else and get to play differently. Like if I'm more of a nerd, maybe I can like play somebody cool or I can play a villain or play whatever. So I like a mix, but yeah, producing I would say is probably number one to get to the point of your question.
In that case, I will ask all just producing questions. And actually,
Oh, ask all of them. I mean, I don't care. You can ask me whatever you want. I'm here to answer. So,
here's a good one. Of all the films that you produce, what was your favorite? And would you be interested in doing a film about me?
how about you? I mean, hey, well, I'll answer the first part. So I mostly like as far as big studio stuff, like I've done a lot of like assistant work, like PA work, but they always recommend if you want to be a writer, producer, whatever, you need to go make your own projects. You need to find the time to balance. So for me, it's been like some like commercial stuff and short films that I've produced. And of those, my favorite is one that's called 12 a.m. And it's like the sub of it is day night, and it's a mental health related short film. So like specifically within Black mental health. Because my business partner, because I have a production company called PSU Productions, and my business partner and I we met each other talking about mental health on different scales. So I used to work at a mental health hospital, but there's a mental health disorder that he has, and he's actually been a patient before at a mental health hospital. So we were on the set of Black Panther 2, and we started having this conversation. And that's how this 12 a.m. project was born. So it's about these two like African American young people who have different mental health disorders in different situations. And it's about how people perceive them in public spaces, and then also the triggers and things that they deal with from their past that they kind of have to deal with and bring into the present. So that's been my favorite one because of the message, because of the consultants we had. It was very important for us to have people who work in the mental health space. So we had 3 mental health consultants. So I was really proud to get to work with them. And then 2, just people coming back to me and telling me, oh, thank you so much for being organized, or thank you so much for treating us all like this or like that. Because sometimes independent films, people say is a stereotype. They're not as organized, or people get, shorted and different things. So the feedback that I got also meant a lot to me because it meant that was something that I know that I can continue to do and something that I can continue to be a part of. So that answers that question. That's my favorite one. We got in 2 festivals recently, so we're going to be posting more about that. And then hopefully it'll be on YouTube soon once the festival run and everything is over. And to do a film about you, I mean, we can definitely talk about it. Like I don't mind at all. We gotta, start with the scripts from the idea. So we'll have to talk about what perspective, right? Like what perspective you want to kind of go with for your movie. And it's like, who is going to play you? Are you going to play you? Who's going to play the young you? Like we got to talk about, we got things to discuss. But I mean, I'm a person that doesn't say no. I give everybody a chance to pitch it and tell me what they want and see if it's doable. So,
No,
I mean,
absolutely.
hey, we can talk after this. So you never know what can happen.
I do have a couple questions, so I talk to you about off here. But when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the coronavirus. Now we're back from the quick commercial break. Subject I want to talk to you about is the coronavirus. How has it impacted your life, and how has it impacted your career? Do you see things in a different point of view?
For me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a natural introvert. So being in lockdown, like by force was awesome. Now, the one thing I didn't like was I was a senior in college during COVID. So I had plans to do study abroad and I had plans for my senior projects. All of that stuff blew up and didn't go as planned. So it personally, like, the introverted side of me was happy. But I guess for the extension of my career and the things I possibly could have done, that did affect me. Like I was a little bit sad about that kind of stuff. But oddly enough as well, isolation pushed me because for my senior project, I decided to do like a little web series, which again, ironically was also somewhat isolation and mental health related. So it was like a 3-episode mini series that I did with my friends for my senior final. So COVID, in a strange way, had a positive impact, at least on my creative process. Because I was able to work around it and make something work out of a negative situation. So that was me personally. And then career-wise, and even just like for the industry, I know that was tough because, we make movies, we're close to each other. There's, all these movements are going on. And it was very tricky to have to figure out how to come back and how to still make projects. So whether it was like the bubble, like Tyler Perry in Atlanta had his like bubble that made everything work and quarantining everybody. I also was a COVID PA for a while. That was a whole experience, very, very tough experience. But that, also was something cool to learn from. But I think the industry, it took a hit. But now things are slowly getting back to normal. And, I feel like there's, more workers around. There's, more creatives now within the area. So I think, yeah, I'd say on the scale of like absolutely terrible for me personally to like, yay, it was awesome. I put it like right in the middle. I think that's fair. Like there are some good things, some bad things, but
that's true. You can't have
we
everything.
made it through. We made it through. Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about the new COVID that's going around and supposedly in the fall, there's supposed to be more of the bird flu going around?
Oh boy. I mean, again, introverted vibes, not a big fan of sickness and germs. I guess that's not really an introverted thing. It's more of a germaphobe thing. But in both cases, I just hope that I can stay safe and that my family can stay safe and, whatever information and knowledge is necessary to help keep everyone safe. I hope that that's how it goes. I also hope that we can learn from, COVID-19 and learn from what happened last time. And again, hopefully improve things that we need to improve upon. So yeah, that's my feeling on it. Just again, making sure that everybody is provided equal opportunities for, staying safe and different things like that. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to do a special sit down on the Keith Andrew Network that will be available on Instagram and TikTok right after the show. But the last subject I want to talk to you about is social media. How has social media impacted your life, and has it gave you more opportunities with your production?
So, social media for sure. Before, like when I first got into the industry, doing like the different jobs and things that I was doing, social media, like I didn't pay as much attention to, honestly. But the more that I got into the industry and the more I learned about marketing, like how important it is to market a film. There are so many great projects out there, but if there's no marketing, nobody sees it. So like it definitely impacts how things go, and it impacts my learning even right now. Because I'm not like the best all the time when it comes to it on my own personal page. Like it's weird how I always want to give other people advice and tips on like, oh, try this meme, oh, do this thing, blah, blah, blah. But like I need to do better for myself. So it has impacted me because it's provided a lot of opportunities to learn about how to really market your projects, even for any upcoming projects I have coming up, like learning and understanding that you need to think about it at the beginning. Some people think about social media and how to strategize and do all these things too late, and sometimes that's the problem. So I definitely, social media is added to like discipline, and in the sense of providing opportunities, the world is open. Like the power that we have within our phones, there's so many. I mean, I met you, that just through social media. That's like how we connected. We're able to talk. So I think it's something that's, it's positive if it's in the right hands. We can do some good stuff creatively with it. So I guess it's okay. Don't use too much of it though. Like every now and then, please, like take a day or take a few hours and like go breathe outside or go run around or do something. So try not to stay stuck on it too much.
Absolutely. Well, for me, I would say I actually find myself being on my phone more than the computer. Right now, I'm using the computer when I do interviews and editing and like searching for people. Not in that way, I'm not a stalker, but searching for people who I want to interview. I'm on the phone more. The phone's always with me. But if I'm doing stuff that or it's important, like editing, then I have to be, on doing something different. Do you find yourself on the phone more than the computer?
Oh, 100%. And even like you said, sometimes how you're on your phone and you find yourself going way off to what you were originally doing, like happens to me all the time. Like it's definitely, I think that's like a big thing I have to work on. So I try my best as well to do work on my like computer or on my iPad, but yeah, my phone is definitely the thing I'm on the most. You know how you get that notification of like the percentage of your screen time? Mine's pretty bad. So I need to I need to work on it, but I definitely am on my phone more because your social media is on your phone. I mean, emails now on your phone, games are on your phone, almost everything you can do on a laptop and iPad you can now do on your phone. So I'm definitely on it more than I should be.
Oh, would you agree or disagree? I mean, after you're on your phone like this, and then they're like, I can do this on the computer, but do you feel like there's like a disconnect? Like, yeah, it's more comfortable holding it
Yep.
closer and using. I find it to be real annoying sometimes because it's
Yeah.
so. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, no, I was agreeing with you that sometimes you do feel that distance or like it's weird when I'm on my phone, sometimes it feels less like work if I'm doing work. But when I'm doing like Zooms and different calls, like I like the bigger screen so you can see everybody better and like all of that stuff. But like even for like script ideas or any notes that I have, like if I'm on my phone, I feel like I can get things out quicker. So I agree. But then my head hurts more when I'm on my phone. So it's like because the screen's so small and I'm staring at it longer than I should be. So then my head starts pounding and it's like I got a big head, so it pounds a lot, you know what I mean? So there is that. But yeah, I agree. You feel that little bit of distance. It's almost like your phone is one of your friends, which is very scary, but like that, I'm pretty sure that's how some people feel about it. So yeah, it's kind of like a little friend
So
for sure.
my last two questions for you wrapping up the show, then we can go overtime. First one is what's hard about catering and building to the right audience, and what is the most rewarding part of being a producer?
Hardest part for me, I'm gonna be very honest. I feel like because even like how Black women sometimes can be represented on screen, um, I feel like sometimes that doesn't cater to who I am personally. Like I don't see like a lot of like Black nerdy women all the time. Or it's not to say that they're not out there, but sometimes they're hard to find within like algorithms and different things. So I feel like that can be tricky finding that audience because like not only that but also talk about mental health, which is a pretty uncomfortable topic for people to discuss. It can be tricky to really open up and be vulnerable. So sometimes it's hard. That's how I feel about it. Hopefully I feel like the right audience is out there. I just got to really dig to try to find them. But when if you're not like the hottest person, or if you're not doing like different TikTok dances, or so shopping online or different things, like there's certain topics that are going to blow up more than others. So it can be tricky if you don't fit within those certain boxes that you think everybody likes. But I have to kind of train my brain again to remember that how I feel, I'm not the only one who feels that way. Like I'm not the only person who cares about mental health. I'm not the only Black nerd. Like I know this. I just have to really keep pushing to find that audience. So even if it is going to be a little bit harder, it's definitely it's an obstacle to overcome, and it's something once I get to the place that I want to be, whether it's the right followers, connectors, whatever. Once I get to that place, like it'll feel more rewarding because you really put in that effort to try to find those people. And then producing. Ooh, for the most rewarding part, there's a lot of good things, I think. But watching somebody's story come to life, whether that's mine or someone else's. So like with 12 a.m., like I co-wrote it, but it came from my business partner's brain. So really getting to develop that idea and work with him on something he was passionate about and that he truly related to. Like not only as a Black man or in a military vet, but just as a human being, like that, I think was the most rewarding part, was helping things be organized and having a positive environment to tell an important story. So I think that's my favorite part.
No, absolutely. Now stay tuned for Off the Record. only available on Instagram. May try YouTube, but it's only on Instagram and TikTok. By wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. I'm looking forward to part 2. And until we meet again, actually, before I just say that, for our viewers, our goal is to reach 500 to 1,000 views. This will be shared on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all social medias. Leave a comment for me and our guests. We would love to interact with you. Definitely there will be a part 2. But wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. And until we meet again, I catch you later. Thank you and have a good night.
Supporting me, and my message is all